the most hated drug in the world. That's what a neurologist at one of the most premier medical institutions in the United States or in the world said. This neurologist specifically said, prednisone is the most hated drug in the world. It should be banned in most instances. He said this at a continuing education event that I attended online on April 29th, 2024. And it was titled, Exploring Innovative Approaches in Myasthenia Gravis and the Specialty Pharmacist's Role in Optimizing Care. I completely agree with this doctor because prednisone is truly hated. Why would it be so hated? I mean, it saved my life. I should love it. And I do. It's a miracle, and I really, truly appreciate it. But it's also the most hated drug in the world for a very good reason. And that reason is because prednisone causes more side effects than any other drug. I dare you to find a drug that causes more side effects. In fact, I did a survey of a pharmacist online community that had over 20,000 members. And I said, which drug do you think is the worst side effect causing drug? Which drug causes the most side effects? And there were several listed, and prednisone beat them. Prednisone is the most hated drug in the world and voted as the one with the most side effects by pharmacists. And these side effects might seem not a big deal to the prescribers. When you look at surveys of patients and prescribers, their perceptions of the risks are so vastly different. Prescribers are worried about osteoporosis and heart disease and sepsis and pneumonia, all of these medical terrible outcomes that can lead to death. Whereas patients are worried about weight gain and moon face, the round fat deposits on the face that make your face round like the moon, and insomnia and other things that are not life-threatening. But what the doctors are worried about might be medically disastrous. They're just less likely to happen. Whereas the patients, they're worried about what's actually happening to them to decrease their quality of life. That what we experience when we take prednisone, 70% of people gain weight. No one wants to gain weight. The most tweeted side effect of prednisone is insomnia. These are life-altering side effects that don't necessarily kill you, but they make your life a lot harder. I know I personally took prednisone while I was in the running, applying to be a medical school professor. If you've ever heard of academic jobs, they have very long job application time periods. And so when I found out that they had given me the opportunity to be interviewed for a job at a medical school to teach medical students, aspiring doctors, I was thrilled because it was like my dream job. I love teaching. But then I got my autoimmune disease flared. I was forced to take prednisone. And I thought, oh, it won't be too bad. I've got plenty of time until my job talk interview. I'm going to be off prednisone in just a few weeks, I'm sure. I've seen the prescriptions. I've filled those prescriptions in the pharmacy. They're only for like 10 days or maybe 2 weeks. That's only going to be a short time. It'll be okay. But it wasn't just 10 days. It wasn't just 2 weeks, and it wasn't a month. It was months. And it was a roller coaster of high and low doses. And it seemed like I was never going to get off of it. In fact, before my job talk interview, my doctor said, all right, prednisone's not really working for you. You have 2 options, either surgery to remove your spleen or chemotherapy. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. At the time, I thought taking higher doses of prednisone was a better idea than losing an organ. I still kind of agree with that, but the side effects only got worse. My moon face only got bigger because I was relying on prednisone and it wasn't really working for me anymore. The benefits didn't outweigh the risks for me anymore. I needed higher and higher doses to get the same benefit I'd been getting before of keeping my body from attacking itself, of making me bleed to death. And so after a few months of just trying higher and higher doses of prednisone, I finally gave in and said, okay, fine. I will avoid the surgery option and go with the chemotherapy option. luckily for me, the chemotherapy worked. That I was able to get off prednisone, the most hated drug in the world. I was so grateful for that because those side effects were horrible. The combination of chemotherapy and prednisone was even worse, but it meant an end to the prednisone, and that was worth it for me. And if you're stuck in that prednisone's the most hated drug in the world because it has so many side effects, but it's saving my life, I'm not bleeding to death, or I'm actually able to make my own food, or I'm actually able to leave my house, or whatever benefit prednisone is giving you, but the side effects are so heavy, they're affecting your quality of life and making life not worth it. That for me, at one point, it felt like I'd rather just deal with the disease than deal with the side effects. If that's how it is for you, well, I have a way to tilt this back in your favor. Because I discovered what's causing these side effects to be so horrible. I realized one moment when I was staring at the ceiling, not able to sleep because of the side effects of both the prednisone and the chemotherapy. And I was thinking, I just wish I could sleep. I wish there was something better than this. And suddenly a voice said, you need to create something for people on prednisone. I was like, that's funny because I'm a pharmacist. I went to pharmacy school and all my professors said that thing that you're suggesting is quackery, that instead of buying that, you should just take the money you were spending to buy that and just flush it down the toilet, because that's essentially what you're going to do. You're going to swallow it and it'll just flush down the toilet and it'll have no benefit to you. But then the voice said, no, you need to do this. People on prednisone need a supplement designed specifically for them. And it's like, wait a second. Actually, there is a kernel of truth to that, my biased pharmacist mind said. Because when I was studying to get my pharmacist license, one of the things you had to know about prednisone is that it causes osteoporosis by stealing vitamin D and calcium. Hey, that is something that every pharmacist knows. Okay. Well, it's not just vitamin D and calcium I discovered. Then when I dug deeper, I realized that prednisone is also stealing chromium, magnesium, potassium, B vitamins like folic acid, and on and on. There's at least 9, if not 15 nutrients that prednisone is stealing. And if the calcium and vitamin D stealing causes osteoporosis, what are all these other nutrients stealing? What side effects are they causing? And I realized that tons of side effects can be attributed to the nutrient depletion caused by prednisone. Check out this image of all the potential side effects of prednisone that could be caused by nutrient depletion. I was mind blown when I realized that it's not just calcium and vitamin D that we need to be giving to our prednisone patients. That had I known this when I was in the throes of prednisone side effects, I could have been counteracting them. I had no idea, and I wish I had known that. But you don't have to wish it, because I discovered exactly what you need to replenish while you're taking prednisone. And I invented Nutranize Zone, the first and only supplement for people on prednisone. It contains those nutrients that prednisone has depleted. It gives back what prednisone has stolen from you and replenishes it to ameliorate the side effects. It takes where you were with the benefit risk so far down. And when you put Nutranize there, it brings it back into balance so that the benefit of prednisone and the risks are more in balance. That if you're having to take prednisone like I had to, that the balance of that with the side effects is now right in balance. You feel more whole and complete because you're giving back what prednisone is stealing. That you don't feel so at a loss, wilting and miserable because you're counteracting the side effects so that you can feel like yourself again. So just go to Nutranize.com and you can get Nutranize today to help you feel like yourself again. So you don't have to hate prednisone quite as much. That you don't have to, like the doctor said, that prednisone is the most hated drug in the world. It should be banned in most instances. That you don't have to ban prednisone. That you have an alternative now. You can give Nutranize Zone along with prednisone and feel okay. The prednisone is so costly. It costs so much as far as side effects. But you give this, and now that cost is worth it. The return on your investment is worth it because you can take prednisone like you have to, and you take Nutranize along with it, and you can feel like yourself again. So just go to Nutranize.com and get your supplement today. So that instead of feeling like I did, thinking, oh, we're just flushing money down the toilet. No, it's completely legitimate when it comes to prednisone. Maybe other supplements are truly flushing money down the toilet. But when it comes to taking prednisone, it's taking away from you. So you need to give it back. So go to Nutranize.com today to get Nutranize Zone, the first and only supplement for people on prednisone, to reduce your suffering by replenishing your nutrients so that you can recover from taking prednisone. Signing off as Dr. Megan, your prednisone pharmacist.